Hello and welcome back to the ministry, and today we are talking about dealing with the pain of the past. Right now we are in a very pivotal transitionary season, and especially those of y'all that are preparing for marriage, there is a major transition you're in the midst of. You were in a relationship before, that relationship ended, and you went through a period of healing. Now you're in that phase of transition where you know the Lord's preparing to open a door for your relationship. This can be, for those that are waiting on prodigals, this may be a renewal of your past relationship. Or the Lord is preparing to open a door for a new relationship. As well, if you're waiting on someone new, you may know who the someone is that the Lord is preparing to open the door for, because the Lord's shown you. I was looking over the article for today's topic, and I felt it was relevant to do this one in particularly because of that factor. Right now, we know that this is the year of God ordained marriage. We know that God is preparing the spouses, and the time is ticking down to the end of the year, and a lot of things are going to be transpiring before the end of this year to bring forth the manifestation of the promise. Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't going to be getting married in 2023, 2024, all of this. But this was the year that was really a hyper energy around marriage. It says in the word that for Bertha, the land that was dry and desolate shall now be what? Married. It's like Bertha or Beulah. Beulah. I said that wrong. So, because of this, you have to be aware and cautious. Know what the Lord has told you. Because right now there has been a heavy weight of deception that has been coming around to bring about doubt towards what the Lord has said. I'll tell you this. I remember 6 to 8 months ago. I even remember about a year ago, year and a half ago, the same thing happened. Every time I'm close, and this is how I know I'm close to my God-ordained spouse coming, I get a weird video pop up on my timeline on YouTube, and this might help somebody. And it'll be like a pastor I ain't never seen before. Dude look like he's in his house somewhere, and he be doing a video where he's talking about, oh, your lover from your past is going to come back and ask for such and such. And it's like, that's my past. I know you better get off my phone, because I don't receive anything from my past. Okay? That's a no. Or you'll start to see your ex's name start popping up. Not as frequent as your God-ordained spouse's name, if you know who your God-ordained spouse is, but you're going to start seeing the ex's name start popping up. Then you're going to start getting this melancholy feeling that starts. You got to be careful of that, because the enemy's trying to reroute you because of the fact that he's trying to prepare you to open a door to get you diverted away from the person in which the Lord is preparing to send in your life. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in the world. It's like, I see you. I know what you're doing. Why? So I felt this article was a good point of contact to talk about, because in it I was talking about, I believe it's Latoya Luckett's song "Back to Life," because I know Alicia Keys made it "Back to Life," but if it says "Back to Life," I'm assuming that that's the exact same title. It's weird. They both have similar titles. But Latoya Luckett's song, if you watched the video for it, and I remember years ago watching the video for this, that she has a run-in with her ex and decides to give him a second chance. They're having a whole lot of communicative reconnections and all of this kind of thing, and he's hanging out in the house and all these kind of things. Everything feels good. You get that melancholy. You feel like you're back to where you once were and all of this kinds of things. But then she went to the club one night with her girlfriends when she wasn't with him, and saw him at the same club with one of his other chicks. And then she immediately was reminded of all of the stuff that he had did before. All the lies, all of the cheating, all of the foolishness that ended their relationship in the first place. And she ended up dumping the guy. A lot of you must be very careful in this time and in this season about the spirit of melancholy. Because what the enemy is doing, and he's bringing up melancholy in order to bring up a level of comfort and homey feeling towards your ex. Yeah, that one, that last one. And God forbid y'all had a couple exes that y'all was rotating through at the same time. And right now, what's happening is he's about to try to, one, get you wooed into feeling a certain way about that man. Then, after he woos you into feeling a certain way about that person, he's going to send the person. They'll try to text you. They may try to make some type of communication level with you. They may try to do whatever it is that was a thing for y'all. Email, text, Facebook, contact, what have you. But somehow the guy's going to, and if y'all guys, the woman's going to try to make contact. And I've been trying to avoid this, but I mentioned a little bit, like Jezebel is out in full. This has been what's happening to the men as well. So you can't expect that it's happening to the men and it's not going to be attempted to happen to y'all. That the ex is going to try to come back. But what did we establish about for the men? The men have been rejecting, because I said I was watching the show only to get a confirmation through Megan Michelle that Jezebel's trying to come back. And for the men coming back to you ladies, that's a Jezebel too. It's called a spirit husband, a warlock, operating in pride and Leviathan. Okay, so you got to be aware of this. What's her name? Dana Ray did a video recently. Actually, she did two, where she was doing a breakdown. Hers is called Kings and Predators. And she was talking about how the enemy's starting to send people to you to start trying to woo you now that you're in your season that your God dating spouse is coming. Meaning, if you're out, a guy's going to try to start approaching you. And she said she noticed that there was a guy in her neighborhood that started trying to make conversation. She was doing everything in her power to reject this guy. No, I don't want to give you my number. No, I'm just no. And then she was like, okay, I'm gonna give you an Instagram, thinking that okay, my Instagram got God all over it. Da, 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 da. And the guy kept doing all of that. Now the guy has information on her, and she's concerned that when her God ordained spouse show up, that this guy now has her social media information, that he might try to start some foolishness. I knew a woman. She had somebody that was stalking her and sending her jewelry and other kind of stuff. While she was in a date with, well, she was dating whoever it was that she was with. So you got to be cautious in this season, because the exes may start to try to come back, even for you. So keep your eyes and ears open. If you start seeing signs and all that kind of stuff, and if they send you a message, don't respond. Keep it dead. Let it stay dead. But with that, I'm going to also say that if you know that the Lord has been showing you that He's reconciling you, then you just have to be cautiously aware and allow the Lord to lead how you open that door for that person. But if the Lord ain't never show you that your ex is the one, don't you open that door. Don't open that door. But with that being said, is there something else I wanted to say in relation to that? Healing. You've gone through a lot of healing. You've gone through the change. You've gone through the transformation. The recognition of that healing is, yeah, they may make an attempt to say something to you, but you have to be aware of where your feelings are towards that person. You have to make them as a stranger to you, because what will happen is the enemy is banking on you opening the door. Even the kindness of us wonderful Christian women is we have the tendency, let me just open the door because I want to pray for them and I wanted this. Don't open the door. Do not open the door. Because if you open the door, they think they have the right to keep contacting you. And what's that going to look like when your God ordained spouse shows up and somebody else is trying to get in your DMs? Don't open the door. So, what I also wanted to say, if the door is closed, make sure that you are healed. What I did, and this is something that the Lord did for me, I'll say it was about somewhere around about 6-7 months ago. The Lord gave me a revelation. And what I did was I did a full, complete write out of all of my feelings, all of my emotions, all of my what have yous, full, complete closure and disclosure of how I felt in relation to that relationship and the fact that I felt free now. I was like, I'm letting this go and I'm releasing it. Now, most people wouldn't do what I ended up doing, but I did. I took the letter and I sent it. But with the initial understanding that I blocked every form of communication after that, meaning it was sent, but he couldn't respond back to me. Okay? I don't let that spirit in. Okay? My prayer for him now is this, that the Lord starts to have his wife pray for him. It ain't me. That God starts to do what he got to do to send the prophetic witnesses towards that man to lead him to his wife, not me. Because what the enemy is also doing is bringing melancholy to your exes to make them think, I wish I had treated them better. I wish I had da, which is going to make them want to come to you. Pray against that, please. Pray against that. Because all it is the enemy trying to put a wedge in directly before the blessing comes. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You got to pray that the Lord not allow any counterfeit or anyone operating in the wrong kind of spirit, whether it be manipulation or whatever spirit it is, to not have access to you, because they are operating incorrectly, and the spiritual intent upon the person, because Elroy knows all things, God knows all things, and he knows the intent on the person. He knows if that person is coming to you from a genuine standpoint, or if a spirit is attached to that person that is only trying to gain access to you through the manipulation of emotion that that person can bring towards you. And you got to be able to peep that. Because if you don't peep that, they're going to try to open the door, which is going to delay you from getting to your ordained spouse. And 9 times out of 10, if this person is coming towards you, they are operating under a monitoring spirit. They're trying to find out information. And they're trying to do so using some form of comfortability and security that you once had through that melancholy. Okay? You have healed. Do not open the door to someone that you know hurt you, because if they hurt you once, they are 9 times out of 10 going to do it again, unless the Lord has said this person has actually changed. Meaning the Lord has given you clarity that this person has changed. The Lord has shown you, I'm sending this person back into your life. And the Lord has confirmed that that's the person that he's sending back into your life. If he ain't said nothing like that, and you know the Lord has already shown you somebody else is coming into your life, and this person just randomly desires to come back into your life, no. No. Every person that I know that is kingdom married right now, the ex always tried to show back up. And sometimes it was under the pretenses of the connection they already had. For instance, the person had children with that person, and all of a sudden that person shows up at church the same day that they supposed to be going out, almost as a way of bringing about confusion in that person, so that when the God ordained spouse showed up, they would be emotionally confused. Meaning they would be angry, rejective, whatever that is. So you got to realize that this is happening and this is going on. And because this is going on, you have to be alert and aware. Because the enemy ain't got no new tricks. He doesn't. And just understand that the person coming towards you, whether it's an ex or a new person, if they get their hooks into you enough, you're going to realize that that person, they're going to start off nice, but they're going to have light aggression that will come about them, because they're trying to trap you before your God ordained spouse comes. They are. And the ex will do the same thing, because they're operating under Jezebelic spirit. Probably a projection and a provoking spirit as well. But that's what's happening. So be aware, because When I tell you we this close, we this close. Also be aware, if your God ordained spouse shows up, the person may still try to show up to bring about division between the two of you. When you and your spouse do not tell nobody, please. Please don't tell nobody. Please don't tell nobody. Y'all gonna have to be real incognito, real quiet until the Lord says otherwise. Because he's trying to cover the both of you when that happens. But no, these things are starting to happen. These things are literally the sign that you're being exposed to be put into your marriage. Because your husband has to be able to see you to find you. God's had you in a shield of invisibility. When you start seeing people starting to approach you, that means that the Lord's removing the invisibility off of you so that your husband can find you. For some of them, it's as simple as they already know. They waiting for the go ahead. But what the enemy is going to do when God says, okay, now, the enemy is going to say, oh, he got a now. Let me slide somebody else in there to make him deter. Let me see if I can show him something to make it look like it is not what. You know what I'm saying? So be cautious because the enemy's trying to set you up as well to make you look bad in their eyes so that they may not want to approach you. Pray against that too. Because, did I tell you guys about the dream I had? I had the dream that I was in an intimate scenario, watching myself in an intimate scenario. I was not in my own body, but was watching me in an intimate situation with somebody else. And these are the kinds of things that the enemy is doing. He's creating an imagery like that and then potentially showing it to your spouse to make them think, oh wait, she already in a relationship with somebody, I can't approach this person. Or what if they are in a relationship intimately with somebody else? So these are the types you gotta pray over your spouse's dreams, pray over their visions, what they're seeing. Because we sitting up here standing and waiting, and the enemy got their heads all tied up in knots, thinking this, that, and the other. But it's a blessing for Stephanie P did a word about a week or two ago where she was talking about these God ordained spouses ain't as what's the word? Undiscerning as we might think they are. They're not spiritually dumb. Some of them can see just as well the types of games that the counterfeit that they have had in their past are doing. So they can see it from a mile away that person's coming. Because remember, I said that they're starting to reject. They're beginning to reject in this season. But any unhealed wounds, the enemy is trying to open them fully by creating melancholy to make you feel like you need to go backwards. If God didn't say that, don't you dare do that. Follow God's instructions, follow the Lord's direction, no one else. And you have to be real clear in this time. You have to pray over your mind and pray over their mind, because the enemy, the closer you get to that, the more the enemy's going to start bringing thoughts of fear, doubt, everything that would be a trigger point for you, he's going to bring it towards them. Everything that would be a trigger point for them, he's going to bring it towards you. So be aware, begin to pray, start to face the things that the enemy may try to bring at you in relation to bringing up old past things. I remember even the other day, I saw my old high school on the news. I'm like, and it was high school. I was dating the last person I was with. Well, actually, I didn't date them in high school. I met them in high school. And that's what came up. Not to mention the ex's name's been coming up. I'm like, you don't ever stop, do you? Do you not know I know what you're doing? I'll see my God today spouse's name 50 times in one day, and then here comes melancholy trying to bring up my ex's name about 5, 6 times during the day. But you see the differentiation? It's a suggestion in order to make you feel like you need to doubt. Well, why am I seeing my ex's name? Why am I seeing somebody with my ex's name? Or like I said before, bringing up old TV shows, things that y'all would watch together, or things that were familiar to you and that person. So just be aware and be cautious of it and start praying against that. I say I send that back, send it to anything he's sending towards me, I send to his God ordained spouse. It's like, Lord, send it to his spouse. Send it to his spouse. Because I prayed all that I want to pray over that man. Send it to his spouse. The Lord says, I need to pray for something. I pray and send it to the spouse. The last thing I say before I send it to his spouse and have his spouse start praying. Because I ain't his spouse. Because that's the only way that she gonna get him is if she starts praying for him. I can't be the one standing in the gap for that. I'm not the one that's anointed to cover that man anymore. I'm anointed to cover my husband. Whoever that is that's meant to cover him. So start praying that their spouses start covering them. Because it will start to pull them towards their spouse. So, I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to say in relation to that. And I will come back and see you in the next one.